And you people thought that I was a madman for not covering the Epstein leaks yesterday. Well, guess what? The tapes dropped. See, that's what happens when you wait a little bit. When you ferment, you got to burp the gases out, but eventually you can get some really good kombucha. Is kombucha fermented? I actually don't know what kombucha is. It's just the first word that came to mind. What is fermented? Bean paste. Maybe? It is? All right. Nailed in one. Thank you. Should have just ran with it. Procrastinating pays off again, as it always does. As it always does. Are you procrastinating on your assignments in school? Are you not getting your homework turned in on time? Do I have advice for you? Get mediocre grades, get a degree anyway, don't get a job, and then become a famous live streamer. You make lots of money, and you don't have to work that hard. Just do it, idiot. Jeffrey Epstein described himself as Donald Trump's, quote, closest friend, and claimed intimate knowledge of his proclivity for sex, including cuckolding his best friends, according to recordings obtained exclusively by the Daily Beast. So, okay, who was the person who initially dropped it? Was this Michael Wolff again? I'm blanking. The initial drop, the one that happened 2 days ago, was that Wolff? Okay, so there's this journalist called Michael Wolff, and he's going to hell because he saved a bunch of juicy details he had access to for years because he wanted to put it in a book. He had him stored for ages. He drops this now because it maximizes the revenue that he's going to get from his tell-all book. I can't even talk about what I think. Yeah. So he's him, okay? Apparently, a lot of news outlets haven't been willing to run with this for a while because, again, Jeffrey Epstein knew a lot of people. A lot of people. That's the point of being a power broker, right? Being a sex trafficking pedophilic power broker means you basically just have to have, like, one party with a guy. He wakes up the next morning. You have videotapes of him, like, fondling a 14-year-old girl. Congratulations. He's your minion for life, you know? Like, that's it. The whole point of the system is to have as much dirt as possible on as many people as possible so that you have like connections that spread out. Like this is literally how it operates. Like that's how it works. The thing that was special about Donald Trump is that he wasn't like a guy who got roped into it. He was just Jeffrey Epstein's friend. Like there are a lot of people who have been associated with Epstein who are probably unironically just like they went to the wrong party. Isn't Matt Groening one of those people? Where somebody was like, hey, didn't Matt Groening, the Simpsons guy, he was on the flight once and he was like, yeah, I was really uncomfortable. Like I just got invited once and then I like I didn't, you know, like this has happened to a lot of people. Bill Clinton was an actual friend of Epstein. Donald Trump, actual friend of Epstein. Noam Chomsky's intentions are his own. That's all I can say. JF Gariepi, that's a deep cut for some of you, but you know, though they are ideologically aligned on the young people thing. That's for true. That's for sure. Whoo, dilly. The convicted pedophile even boasted of his closeness to Trump and his now wife Melania by claiming the first time he slept with her was on my plane, which was dubbed the Lolita Express. That's crazy. Epstein spoke at length about Trump with the author Michael Wolff. Again, we've talked about Wolff. In August 2017, 2 years before being found dead in his jail cell, Wolff was researching his bombshell bestseller Fire and Fury at the time. The recordings cast more light on Trump's long relationship with Epstein and will add to debate over the character of the Republican candidate, especially his attitudes and conduct towards women just days before the election. I have not heard any of this. I'm clicking the button.
So how do you know this?
That was close to straight.
So I need the dump. Just give me dump.
First, it's fun. As you probably know, he had a scalp reduction because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have.
Gender-affirming surgery.
Donald's office, as you know, he made that call. He used to be on the phone with that fake PR person. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do you? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do you have sex? I mean, don't you want to try? you and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian tropic kind of. Orange. So come over 3 o'clock. You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, Victoria's been on the phone, listening, setting it up. Because he wants a story. So he has you on, because as the avoid conversation,
Ominous.
you're not going to say yes, but much. He had a really speech to me, how would you like
Analog horror vibes. Yeah, they really set this one up for us,
you must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wife's on the speakerphone listening. Donald and said, I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael is like the end of the world, the best guy on earth. You'll be married to him. You're wrong. Just listen to the next 20 minutes. And go with the new office, set you up.
So this is the like Jeffrey Epstein setting up cuckolding wife on phone. Here's you describe you the other girl kind of. It's a whole it's a lot of there's a lot of stuff. Epstein painted a complicated portrait of Trump. He called him charming and always fun, capable of extraordinary salesmanship, and suggested he was personally in favor of Trump's policies on the transgender stuff. But he alleged Trump was a serial cheat in his marriages and loved to f the wives of his best friends. Yeah, obviously he would do that. He also claimed that while Trump has friends, he was at heart a friendless man incapable of kindness, and he alleged that Trump had had scalp reduction surgery for baldness and called himself the Trumpster. Also, yeah. Asked by Wolff, how do you know all this? Epstein replied, I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. It's just wild. Like, this is not going to affect the election in any way, shape, or form. Epstein is literally the most notorious pedophile in human history. And he's just like, yeah, I was best friends with that guy for a decade. Remarkable. Wolff shared the tape with the Daily Beast ahead of discussing it in his Fire and Fury podcast on Monday. Last Thursday, he caused shockwaves by revealing a few seconds of a separate recording in which Epstein spoke in detail about the inner workings of the Trump administration. Wolff also said Thursday that the pedophile showed off photos of Trump with topless young women sitting on his lap. Wolff, a veteran journalist and author who was also the biographer of Rupert Murdoch, tells you a little bit about this guy, has long attracted praise and bromides, a trite and unoriginal idea or remark intended to soothe or placate. Okay. When Fire and Fury was published in January 2018, Trump tried to stop it with a failed cease and desist order, then threatened to sue. No case ever materialized, and it sold 5 million copies worldwide. Wolff, who appears regularly on his Fire and Fury podcast, wrote 2 more books on Trump after Fire and Fury and about Epstein in 2021's Too Famous. Wolff says he has up to 100 hours of recordings of interviews with Epstein, including from using him as a source for Fire and Fury and from years of meetings when the disgraced financier appeared to want Wolff to write a biography of him. Wolff said he decided to release parts of the archive after a new accuser, a former Miss Switzerland, alleged last week that Trump had groped her in 1992. Just keeps coming out, man. The new recordings offer extraordinary insight into Epstein, who in 2017 was shuttling freely on his 2 private jets between his Manhattan townhouse, his Palm Beach, Florida estate, Little St. James, a private island of Virgin Islands. You know that his townhouse is a converted elementary school? The Herbert N. Strauss house, hilariously on point. No, it's true. The house's 2008 property tax bill was the 4th highest for a single residence in all of New York City. The Birch-Wathen School occupied the house from 62 all the way until 89, before it was purchased by Leslie Wexner. Interior of the house was designed by Wexner such and such. Epstein moved in 95. Remarkable stuff. And then it got raided by the FBI and NYPD because of, the Epsteining. That is also just a nice building. I mean, it's one of the single most expensive and nicest properties in one of the most cities in the world. One of the cities. So, yeah, he had a lot of money, as it turns out. The billionaire pedophile with connections to like every powerful person had a lot of money.
So, just tell me about his intelligence.
With respect to real estate deals, he's brilliant. He's a salesman. He knows real estate really well. Anything else but that, he knows nothing. No history, no strategy. And when I start to say about executive function, the executive function says, and it's strange because construction, by definition, is just that. First you have the foundation, you have the steels going up, what stage? But in terms of his anything but real estate, he can't figure out if I fire Bannon, what happens tomorrow.
So cause and effect, that has no relationship. Is it in analytic intelligence?
No.
Now, what's this thing about that functionally he can't read, or he doesn't read, or
He doesn't really,
He's just like me for real.
He certainly can't read a balance sheet.
Remembering how when he was president, his cabinet and Joint Chiefs of Staff had to make him basically like little crayon summaries for him to understand the briefings. Like they were like multiple revisions made where they would keep getting sent back by Trump's aides, and they'd be like, you need to like make this shorter. And they actually started making him read it by having his name in it more. Like they were like, Trump likes himself. So maybe if our classified intel briefings from the Joint Chiefs of Staff had his name in it more and like had pictures and were shorter and had less words, then he will actually read them rather than just ignoring them. It's not a joke. This is it's 100% real. Someone working in the administration said that trying to brief him on literally anything was trying to herd squirrels. We stand an ADHD king, and if you don't, you're ableist. Thank you.
Which is funny. Has no idea. He doesn't read. He reads page 6. So he's not functionally illiterate. But his reading comprehension of anything.
Keep in mind that Epstein is saying this about a sitting president at this time. These interviews were conducted in 2017.
Complicated.
now what's other than he has he has a sense of humor. He can be funny.
He's great.
What else recommends it?
His ability to sell. He is charming. He is able to convince people. It's very much like Clinton.
Reminding myself once more why Democrats don't jump on the Epstein connection.
Both Bill and Donald have the ability to go over to a fat, ugly woman, say, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So he tells everybody what they want to hear. Not whether it's charming. And I'm telling you that I know 4 or 5 people who have recently seen them.
2 peas in a pod? Oh, no, yeah, Bill Clinton is a monster and a pedophile. And honestly, like one of the worst presidents in modern history, I would say. In large part, like he did to the Democrats what Blair did to the Labor Party, where he shifted the party's political framework completely to the right, gave up every economic issue he was going to fight on. Like, he was a competent manager of the economy, but that's not, like, he did that by doing the things that you do to reap short-term benefits and long-term systemic structural issues, you know? Yeah, the Democrats, Reagans. And, you know, like, it clearly, with regard to Epstein, at least, pretty much a parallel to Trump.
I just realized we're talking, he built the UN Plaza Trump Tower just in that day.
Yeah, listen, if Kamala Harris went after Trump over the Epstein connection, then it might make Bill Clinton, an 80-year-old man who will never run for office again, vulnerable, and then you wouldn't be able to have Bill Clinton go to Michigan and tell Arabs that they're for not voting against Hamas. And you wouldn't want that, would you? Can you imagine where Kamala Harris would be today if Bill Clinton wasn't going down to Michigan telling Arabs that they're and that they should kill themselves? I mean, if he wasn't doing that, who was going to?
I was going to take the top 4. I went with Donald to see. And it was, again, you can pay me if that was it's a $13 million transaction. You can pay me 11, you're recording the 13 that you give to Morrows. It's always. So the idea that he's that bad, dirty business, he's a construction person in New York City, the electricians union in the country. I have no idea what to think.
Uh-huh.
He's a horrible human being. In Jeffrey's book, he does nasty things to his best friends' wives. Anyone who first tries to gain your trust and then uses it to do bad things. That's how it goes.
It is a good bit, like Jeffrey Epstein judging your morals. That's a very good bit. I'm sorry, Epstein's calling him bad? Yes, that is what happened. Pay attention. The Trump campaign has already attacked Wolff for releasing audio of Epstein, calling the author, quote, a disgraced writer who routinely fabricates lies in order to sell fiction books because he clearly has no morals or ethics. I agree with one part of this statement. Sources in the Trump camp also suggest it was widely known that Trump had kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago when he learned about the sex trafficking allegations. Incredibly false. Trump's long friendship with Epstein, which spanned the late 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, has been well documented. I've got like 2 people in my life who I've known for that long. In the 1990s, the two publicly partied at Mar-a-Lago and went to a Victoria's Secret Angels show together. In 2002, Trump told New York Magazine of Epstein, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, he's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Just as much of a Rizzler then as he is today. Epstein's infamous leaked address books had Trump's own phone number as well as Melania's, while Trump's name appeared 7 times in the passenger logs of Epstein's planes. The books and logs also included princes, politicians, and potentates such as Bill Clinton, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, former Israeli PM Ehud Barak, Prince Andrew, and celebrities and billionaires including Mick Jagger and Les Wexner, who, if you'll recall, was the person who bought Epstein's house before he bought it. Mick Jagger, huh? Yeah, he's not good. He's not good. The funniest thing ever is that the right loves to say Trump is responsible for Epstein being arrested and that he actually hates him secretly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's in the same ballpark as them saying that, like, Donald Trump is finally, like, the man who will fight against coastal elite billionaires or something. It's yeah, immune to logic. Trump, he said, was almost functionally illiterate, but did read the page 6 gossip column of the New York Post. He was incapable of reading a balance sheet, and any act of kindness would have been an accident, Epstein said. On one occasion, Epstein alleged, Trump took a woman to what he called the Egyptian room in an Atlantic City casino. Epstein alleged he came out afterwards and said, it was great, it was great. The only thing I really like to do is f the wives of my best friends. That is just the best. To be fair, Vosh, there's a greater than 0 chance that Trump had Epstein killed. I think it was more likely Trump or people in Trump's camp than anyone else. Like, if you're going to be conspiratorial about it, it's more likely him than anyone else. You believe he was Mossad, right? No? Now more likely Clinton, IMO? Yeah, but, like, Trump was the president at the time. It's kind of, like, influenced by your ability. Doesn't really matter. Trump had an elaborate scheme to procure sex with his friends' wives. He would call the men into his Trump Tower office to ask them about their sex lives and offer them sex with beauty pageant contestants, the pedophile said. Yeah, it's the Daily Beast. It's one of the only, like, publications that I can read, and it's because they have some balls, you know? It's crazy how low the bar is that referring to Jeffrey Epstein as a pedophile is like a degree of narrativization that I would consider ballsy, because in the current media environment, like, I'm used to reading 16 articles a day where, like, the reason why the peace deal with Netanyahu has fallen through is because of indeterminate, like, it just didn't work or something, rather than Netanyahu just openly denying that it was ever going to happen. Child involved incident. Yeah, literally. He would do this while the wives were, unknown to their husbands, listening on speakerphone so that he could then seduce the wives on the basis that their husbands had betrayed them, Epstein claimed. Based? Yeah, I'm coming out in favor of Trump with this one. That's based. Because the husbands cheated first. So you're actually, if anything, you're like, hey, do you want to get back at your cheating husband by fat, bald? And the wives are like, yeah, sure. So if anything, like it's actually empowering. Yeah, he's being an ally here, if anything. Very Frank from Always Sunny coded. Really? It really is. Just this guy risen you up. Is crazy. This was almost 30 years ago. That's crazy. He'd be 50 here. He would use the wives' anger to seduce them, he claimed. Epstein alleged that Trump had an affair with a politician while in the White House. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care if it's true or not. I'm saying it. Epstein offered no proof nor sourcing for that claim. I don't need it. You don't need to give me any proof. It's fine. I believe it. He also alleged that Trump cheated on both his first wife, Ivana, and second wife, Marla Maples, with, quote, a black girl. At one section, Epstein used a Yiddish racial slur to refer to black women and alleged Trump boasted them. I'm all these black women. Yiddish racial slur. Well, he was Jewish. It's not. Don't worry, guys. It's not cultural appropriation. Male pattern baldness. Classic. Epstein compared Trump to an emotionally challenged 9-year-old and said he screams and yells at Rona more than anyone else. His screaming is how he treats people. He has a tantrum, not a temper. If you don't understand him, it's frightening. Once you understand him, it's sort of silly. I've seen this picture. Despite Epstein speaking of his Democratic friends, he offered praise for some aspects of Trump's time in office and said, I think he's doing a pretty good job at certain things and he's not getting credit for it. All the transgender stuff, the bathroom stuff, giving police back their weapons. I do like the reminder in this that despite like casting a very broad net, Jeffrey Epstein was unambiguously a conservative. Like, of course he was. He's a pedophile, you know? But I repeat myself. It is nice, like, at the end. Here's the official Jeffrey Epstein endorsement of being transphobic, you know? Like, at the bottom, but an A+ to Donald Trump's reactionary policies. Like, oh, thank you for the endorsement. I just got more prideful about being trans. Yeah, every transgender person watching, you know, puff your chest out, okay? Be happy. Jeffrey Epstein doesn't like you. Is the Epstein is Mossad thing only a Nazi thing, or is it just a normal conspiracy? I mean, I think the Nazis buy into it too. Like, as is the... Like, Mossad is awful, but, you know, obviously Nazis are going to disproportionately buy into anything that implicates... Like, Epstein's a Jew, so obviously they're going to, like, run in with that, you know? I think it's just a lot easier to explain Epstein's entire life and history. Like, I think that it would have only... Like, Epstein had more power than Mossad. On his own, he had more power than Mossad. If, like, then an intelligence agency... I promise you, Epstein himself had more intel than any intelligence agency, like, by a long shot, you know? He had so many connections. I just think it's more likely that he dealt with a lot of people, you know? Epstein becoming a Mossad agent would make him less powerful, literally. You have any idea how much power I'd have to give up to join Mossad? He didn't answer to Mossad, but he was helpful to them. Oh, that fully, absolutely. Oh, I'm fully, like, contacted, engaged with. Yeah, but not like an agent of. But that's the case with a lot of people, right? Do you have any idea how many security, like, how much stuff a person like, I don't know, Zuckerberg knows that we don't know about? Like, the number of times he's had private meetings with intelligence community agents or people being like, yeah, we need this or we need that, or you need to give us this or you need to for that. Like, powerful people very often. But you wouldn't say, like, you know, therefore, like, Zuckerberg is FBI or CIA or whatever. You know, you would have to go like, okay, well, powerful people just tend to have, like, orbits of influence that intersect with intelligence communities. That Mossad shit comes off as super anti-Semitic when most people talk about it. Yeah, but it's also not innately an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, right? Like, unfortunately, there are just, like, Israel just sucks. And there's a lot of stuff Israel has done where you can be like, ah, well, I think that, you know, Israel has been, you know, the so on and so forth. Like, they've been influencing this in AIPAC and da-da-da. It's like, okay, there are, like, it's like a thin line. At least it is when people just say stuff from chat. I don't think it's a thin line when you're talking about it extensively, because if you're extensively talking about it, it's actually pretty easy to tell if a person's being, you know, anti-Semitic or if they just hate Israel, which is a good position to have.